and welcome back to another episode of Combat X with Alan Dawson on the Roku channel, Fubo, Vizio, Zumo and Prime Video. And if you're watching us on YouTube, please remember to subscribe to our channel, give us a like and turn notifications on because we air MMA fights, bare knuckle and boxing, so you'll get an alert whenever all of that drops, as well as a notification when another episode of Combat X airs. In this episode, we bring in one of the baddest motherfuckers in all combat sports. He is a big lump of a man at 6'5" and 250 pounds, but he's quick on his feet, has devastating power, and he's got underrated ground game too. Above all, he's the UFC's newest heavyweight champion of the world. This is Combat X Tom Aspinall. Welcome to the show, big man. How are you doing?
Thank you. Yeah, I'm doing all right. And that was quite the intro. Thanks for that.
I like the intro game. A few fighters have said that. You know, it's easy with people like you. I remember first speaking to you. It was when it was just before you'd signed with the UFC, but the UFC in Europe. This was back when I was in the UK. They were, introducing, the world's kind of combat sports media, to us. And yeah, it's come full circle. Now you're the heavyweight champion. How does it all feel? Yeah,
good, mate. Good. I'm in a really good spot with it all. Obviously, strange way to win the heavyweight title, I guess. Waited for almost a year, and this has happened. I would have definitely rather fought for it, but I would have rather took it off a champion. Is what I'm saying. You know what I mean? I think it works out well. Everything's good.
Yeah, I was gonna, let's get the elephant out of the way. I know, you mentioned it as well. I know fighters prefer to win the championship in the octagon or in the ring, but now Jones is officially retired. You've been elevated to full champion. Is it kind of like a mental release to finally put all this saga behind you and focus on what you do best, which is pretty much sending opponents to the hospital?
I mean, I don't want to send anyone to the hospital. I just want to win the fight. But yeah, I'm happy that that's behind us now because I've obviously been waiting for the best part of a year at this point. I've not been able to go to work and do my job, which is what I like doing. So yeah, I'm happy that that is all behind us and we can move forward with my career and, quite frankly, my life. So that's good.
Dana White seemed to say, I don't want to misquote him, but yeah, I'm sure he said that the fight was pretty much done at one point. Even at that time, were you like 100% confident the fight would go ahead, or was there always kind of a lingering feeling that we might end up with another Conor McGregor, Michael Chandler type situation?
No, do you know what? I just did my job, which was listen to the UFC, be ready to fight and do what they say. That's all I've done the whole time. So that's all they told me, to be honest. That's the other stuff is like on their side, so I don't really have much to say about it.
I think the thing I've sympathized most with your situation is that you're used to fighting, multiple times a year. And, last year you only fought once. You haven't fought in more than 12 months now. I feel like John Jones kind of robbed you of 12 months of your prime. So now that, this is all behind you, you kind of, recently you mentioned about wanting to be an active champion. Is it a case of you want to kind of make up for lost time?
Yeah, I mean, it's not all been bad because, to be honest, I don't feel like I'm in my prime yet. I still feel like I've got some more work to do before I get there. And I'm getting older and developing more as a fighter and as a person. So I still feel like I'll prime like mid-30s, to be honest. I'm still just 32. But I would have liked to have been active, but also I've been getting better in the time that I've been off. As I said, I was doing my job, which is listen to the UFC and be ready to fight and be ready to go whenever they say. So that means that the whole year I've been training, I've been locked in, I've been doing what I'm supposed to do. And I'm happy with the improvements that I've made. And I'll be happy to show everyone them improvements.
I remember one time me and you spoke and, we're talking about how powerful, you are with striking. And you kind of said to me, I have got this other facet of my game that people haven't seen yet, ground game. And then after that, we started seeing that in the octagon. So what is it now that you've, in the last 12 months, maybe even 2 years, what have you been working on that's improving, that's had improvements in the sport?
Well, you can always improve if you're doing MMA. You never complete everywhere. Just little aspects here and there, little tricks, everywhere, do you know what I mean? Not only physically, but mentally, athletically as well. Do you know what I mean? I'm not just talking about skill stuff. There's a lot more to it than just being good in one particular area. My time has improved. I've got more athletic, I've got faster, I've got fitter. All that stuff plays a massive factor in MMA. So I think in all aspects I've improved.
I'm looking forward to seeing the improvements. These references might be lost on our American audience, but you've always reminded me of like a Northern English Ronnie O'Sullivan or Joe Cole, because you've got this nonchalant confidence and aura, cool, calm and collected. Was there any point over the last year where you were just pissed off and angry at the situation, or did you always kind of have like a kind of this mature kind of attitude to it all?
Yeah, most of it, to be honest. No, it's just, it was all out of my hands. So I was, but as I said, I did keep training and stuff. I didn't fall out with anybody or fall out with the sport or anything like that. So I'm going to show it. I'm going to show that a pissed off me is pretty dangerous. So I'm all right with that.
That's a scary opposition. I know you're in Vegas right now. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. You haven't fought there since 2021. Is a Vegas fight something you'd want next? Or, we heard John Jones and Tom Aspinall could be headlining New York. What's your preference when it comes to, fighting stages that you want to be at?
Yeah, same. It's also, it is actually my favorite city in the world as well. I really like it. But the issue with it is that, this is the time difference. That's the biggest issue. We're talking like 8 hours difference. So, if they want me to fight here, I absolutely will, but if it comes to where I choose to fight, I would rather fight somewhere a little bit closer to home so I don't have to adjust to the time difference. But I say that as I'm suffering with jet lag as we speak, so I don't know. And to be honest, there was 2 places I wanted to fight in my career. One of them was the O2 Arena, headlined that 3 times. The other one was Madison Square Garden. I won the interim title there. So I've done both of the places that I wanted to do. Anything on top of that is a bonus. But if you want me to fight in Vegas, I would be more than happy to do that as well. But I fought in Abu Dhabi twice also. I really enjoyed fighting over there. That's relatively close to home. It's a relatively similar time zone. I was talking 2-3 hours difference. So anything that's close to this situation where I'm training is the best for me.
We recently had Dakota Ditcheva on the show talking about places she's been in the US, trained at, but she was saying she hasn't had much time to actually, experience the States because the focus is on training at ATT, then fight camp. You're not fighting right now, and you mentioned, how much you love Vegas. Is there any bucket list type things you want to tick off while you're in Nevada or the Southwest?
I wouldn't say it's difficult because I've got friends here as well, so most of the time if I'm not training and stuff, I'm just catching up with them. So no, nothing particular that I want to tick off, I wouldn't say. Not really.
There's if you want any recommendations, Hoover Dam is pretty cool. It really showcases American ingenuity with engineering. The Grand Canyon was spectacular when I was there. If you like hikes and if you're going to get on elevated training, Mount Charleston and Red Rock, you always kind of see fighters kind of running the hills up there.
Yeah, it's not something I'd be against, but I've got a really good training situation at home, so I'll be staying there probably till the end of my career, I would imagine.
Out of all the heavyweights in the UFC, there's Cyril Gane, who's now the #1 contender to your title, but then you've beaten number 2, 3, and 4 already before you get to number 5, who's Jailton Almeida, who's been calling you out. Do you think is the UFC rankings your priority right now and kind of working out on clearing out the division, even though you've kind of already beaten a few of these guys once already?
That's a question for another person, mate. And I'll just fight anybody. I've been like that from the start of my career. And I'll be like that to the end as well. I'm the freaking UFC heavyweight champ of the world. I fight who they tell me to fight. It's not. I'm not going to sit here and pick and choose. They all want the spot that I'm in. They can come and get it if they want, and if they don't, then it's completely up to the UFC. It's not up to me.
I think the John Jones fight, it would have just had that super fight feel, and I feel like there's other super fights that would be available potentially to you, but I just don't know about the politics of them. Like Francis Ngannou would be a quality kind of event. Deontay Wilder's mentioned about a 2-fight deal, in boxing and MMA. Alexander Usyk's mentioned about crossing over to MMA as well. Would any of those guys interest you, or is it like you just take on whoever?
I just take on who they tell me to fight. It's not, I'll fight anybody. It's not that complicated with me at all. And just do what I'm told.
Can you remember your first fight? Where it was Alan Harper at the Oceana nightclub in Wolverhampton, got a first-round submission. What do you remember about pre-fight nerves, first amateur fight, first time kind of fighting in front of people?
Well, it's a bit weird because I'd already competed in everything else separately. I'd had boxing fights, kickboxing fights, wrestling fights. So it didn't feel too alien to me, to be honest. like I was already pretty used to it by the time I had an MMA fight. Anyway, it wasn't like I'd gone from nothing to competing in front of people for the first time. I've been doing it since I was 10 years old competing, so it was just the same as every other thing that I'd done before, to be honest.
I mean, your next fight's going to be quite different. So you go from like fighting in front of probably, I don't know, like few hundred people at a random nightclub in the middle of England to now being literally the UFC heavyweight champion. How do you feel like that walkout's going to be when you're holding the real belt?
To be honest, no different to any of the other ones. I don't think it really makes a difference. I've headlined quite a lot of events now. I think I've headlined about 5 or 6 events, or been co-main and been high up the card on big events. So you just kind of get used to it. Do you know what I mean? You just kind of get used to it as it goes. It's still scary and stuff, but you just kind of get used to it.
How do you channel it being like scary? When does the nerves kind of disappear? Like, is it when you make your walkout, or when you're in the octagon, or when you're starting to engage?
Yeah, just like when you're starting to engage usually with me. Everyone's different, aren't they? But with me, yeah, just usually that. I mean, it's pretty subjective. Everyone has a different experience, but for me, yeah, it's usually like when we start actually fighting. Mike
Tyson was always seen as like one of the baddest guys in the world when he reigned in the 80s and 90s, but there's stories of him crying before he got to the ring because he was so like scared and nervous.
Yep, I can see where he's coming from. Yeah.
In the another like kind of part of this story with Jones retiring is he was the last male American champion. Is an era of American dominance in mixed martial arts over, do you think?
To be honest, I don't know if nationality has anything to do with it. I don't think that really. It's all individual, isn't it? To me, like it doesn't really matter. I think that's one of the beautiful things about MMA, isn't it? You can be from anyone, from anywhere, and if you put enough work in and you want it enough, and you do everything right, that you can be really successful at it. I think that's one of the, that's one of, for example, tennis. If your mum and dad aren't funding you, you don't get kids from a council estate playing tennis, really, at a good level. Like, your mum and dad have to be funding you, but whereas MMA, anybody can do it from anywhere in the world. So, yeah, I don't really look into that kind of stuff, to be honest.
I don't think there's many Americans left in the heavyweight rankings, but do you think Gable Steveson could be the next hope for the USA?
Has he had an MMA fight?
No.
Well, he has to have some MMA fights first.
Yeah.
Before we can start talking about that.
Who do you think the next UFC champion from Britain will be?
I think Paddy Pimblett, I would say.
Yeah.
I think he's massively underrated, and I don't know what his next fight is, but I know it's going to be a big one for sure. He's got only big names ahead of him now in the rankings and stuff. But I think he's obviously a big star, brings a lot of hype, which helps. And not only that though, I think a lot of people see Paddy and they think, oh yeah, he's just like a bit of a, bit of a big name and a bit of a like star. But there's way more to it than that. He's really, really well skilled. He's improving every fight. He's taking out guys who are, people like Mike Chandler and stuff like that, finishing them. Like, the guy's really good. So. I think if he gets the right fights, I think they can definitely win a title in the next few years.
I have to admit, I think I was one of the people that underrated him, and it was only really until he fought King Green, and then obviously Chandler as well, that I was like, oh man, this guy could go quite far.
Yeah, he's really good. Yeah, I thought he was good for a long time, to be honest. He's really unorthodox as well. He's hard to prepare for. I think he's going to do it for sure. I think he's going to be a champion.
I'd love to. I know you've trained with a few boxers. I'd love to get your take on a few of the guys in the heavyweight boxing scene. From England. You've trained with Tyson Fury. Have you spoken to him at all recently? How do you think he's going to stay retired, or do you think he might come back for maybe the AJ fight?
Yeah, I spoke to him on the phone the other day actually. I don't know. I see there's a lot of talk about the AJ fight. I don't know where Tyson. We didn't really speak about his career, to be honest. We were just speaking about normal stuff. I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see it. I'd love to see that fight. Whether it's going to happen or not is a different answer, but I don't know. I'd like to see it, personally.
What's normal stuff, the heavyweight champion in boxing and the heavyweight champion in the UFC?
Oh, just, I mean, he's congratulated me on the fight and stuff like that, and then just general everyday chit-chat, really.
How do you think Daniel Dubois will get on in the Alexander Usyk rematch? I've known Dubois since a long time ago. I used to train next to him at the Peacock gym back when he probably only had a few fights. So to see him where he is now, with a world title and looking to take on Usyk again, I actually think he's got a really good chance. I wouldn't be surprised at all if he beat Usyk this time round. How do you feel he'll get on against the unified champion?
Yeah, I mean, let me start by saying I'm not as into boxing as I am MMA, so my answers are not that educated in comparison to someone who's just into boxing. But I think it's tough to beat Usyk right now, in my opinion. But Dubois definitely got a lot of power. But the thing is, Usyk doesn't put himself in he doesn't put himself in the firing line. So he'd have to, he's not going to punch him repeatedly. You'd have to put him out with one or two. I think that's all you're going to land on Usyk. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dubois. I wouldn't be surprised, but I would never say that Usyk's going to lose at this moment, because he looks pretty unstoppable to me right now. And
I can't help but see, you're wearing the new drip that you've got, heavyweight champion. When did this link up start with this apparel brand?
A few months ago now. I was with, I finished with my previous sponsor, and I was looking to really work with a brand that I really liked, so they could elevate me, and that I really enjoyed working with them, and I enjoy the brand, and I just think it's a really classy brand. It's been around forever. Everybody knows about it. It's really mainstream, and that's just what we all wanted to evolve. And I think just the name champion, because champion doesn't just mean like an MMA champion. It can mean a champion across the board. Do you know what I mean? We could talk about all champion in all aspects of life. Do you know what I mean? So I was really, really happy to work with them, and it's a long-term deal, so I'll be working with them until the end of my fighting career at least.
I think another thing about there's been a lot of talk about the legacy John Jones leaves. Without question, it's the greatest light heavyweight. I think it was kind of like a pointless comeback, at heavyweight without fighting you. When it comes to the legacy you want to leave, what does it mean to you, when you hear legacy and Tom Aspinall?
It's not something that I thought too much about, to be honest. I don't know. All I wanted to do from the beginning was do MMA full time. That's what I wanted to do. And obviously I've gone way beyond that now. I did that years ago. So anything on top of that is good for me. So I don't know. I guess I'll think about that as I go, but for right now I'm just thinking about the next fight. I think when you start thinking about the big picture, then the next guy is going to sneak up on you, and I don't want that. So I'm focused on the next fight right now, and that's it.
Dana White said last weekend at the press conference in Baku that that you and he would be meeting this week. Have you already met with the UFC?
Not yet. We will be soon though, hopefully. We actually had some travel issues, so we just got in this morning, so we didn't have much chance to do much yet.
You're going to have a chance to check out the Performance Institute and train there. It's awesome.
I'm going there tomorrow. I'm there tomorrow. Yeah. I always try and visit because not only is the facilities great, I think the people who work there, the physios and the people who look after your body, are the best in the world. So anytime I'm in town and I need a little tune-up, I'll nip in.
Inside me, there's a fat guy waiting to get out, but the chefs at the PI are incredible as well, that they can make a 2-3 course meal and it literally be all the things you need for you, but it still tastes like it's bad for you, but it's not. It's great for you. Have you had much to eat there? I know they've got different sections to, rest and recovery, strength and conditioning, but have you spent much time in the canteen?
Yeah, I have actually, and you're right. Good stuff. I enjoy it.
Tom, it's been great to catch up with you again. I can't wait to see you fight again. I hope it's soon. We've missed you in the sport.
Thank you. I look forward to it, and thanks for having me. Appreciate it.